This is Hidalgo County Judge Richard Cortez. I want to give you an update as to where we are in Hidalgo County regarding this COVID-19 virus, what are our plans for the future. Today, I'm going to sign a new order that's going to place Hidalgo County residents pretty much on the same key as the order that the governor signed here recently that will be effective tomorrow. In that order, the governor is going to talk about opening retail stores that will operate of no more than a 25% capacity. He talks about opening dine-in services at restaurants for no more than 25% capacity. He talks about opening movie theaters that operate also at a 25% capacity. Opening up shopping malls that operate again at a 25% capacity. And it allows for all elective medical and dental procedures to continue. The order that I signed today will be effective at midnight tonight. Does away and expires the shelter-in-home provision, does away with the curfews, does away with the limited travel, and it doesn't require you to wear a mask or a protective cloth in your mouth and face, but it certainly recommends it. The governor did not consider putting an order in for opening up gyms, other public swimming pools, bowling alleys, other amusement venues, hairdressers and barbershops and nail salons. He said that probably he will be coming in with some new rules in about 18 days. I'm going to tell you that I'm very proud of Hidalgo County and all the citizens, all the mayors, all the people, our healthcare providers, everyone in our county, because I think we did pretty good under very dim and horrible situations that this virus brought us here. When we first got started, we had three goals in mind. We wanted to make sure that we were protecting our vulnerable people. We wanted to flatten the curve, and we didn't want to overwhelm our healthcare providers. We did this by putting several precautions in place. The very first one, and a very important one, was actually closing of the schools. We avoided mass gatherings. We placed a shelter-in-place provision. We limited travel. We put restrictions on covering your face, not touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. We want you to practice personal hygiene and sanitize all of the commonly touched areas. What did this action do? Well, we are in the 7th week of these controls, and in week number 1, we had a total of 10 people that tested positive. 1 week later, we had 51. That's a 500% increase from the first week. Week 3, we grew by 66. That was a 30% increase. Week 4, we grew 70. That was a 10% increase. But by the 5th week, we only incurred 63 new positive tests, which was now a 10% decline. And in week 6, which was last week, we grew by 42, which was a 30% decline. This is what we mean by flattening the curve. And I'm very proud that today we only have 2 people in ICU and 15 people in the hospital. So we're doing well in that regard. But now comes economic recovery. As you know, the county has received a substantial amount of money. We don't know exactly how much of that money we're going to keep. But I believe that the right and the proper use for that funds is to invest it in ourselves, to make sure that the county's health department is well equipped to deal with any future pandemic or any future need in the future. You know, we had to go to different laboratories to get our testing approved. If we were to invest in our own laboratory, we can be more efficient and effective in providing services. We were looking for testing materials. Everybody was short. We need to be ready for that. We need to do contact tracing. It's so important that when somebody does get infected with this virus, that we find out where and what and who did they see, who was the possible people they might have contaminated because of this disease is very contagious. And we also need personal protection equipment. Some of the people I'm sure that contracted this virus came from healthcare providers. We had healthcare providers move from place to place. So we need to make sure that we invest plenty of money to make sure that these things don't happen again. Another thing that we've learned is that the way we educate our children in the future is going to be very different, because the first thing that we did was close our schools. Golly, I don't think anybody wanted to see that. But in reality, that may happen again. So one of the things that I want to make sure is that Hidalgo County is preparing itself to bridge this digital divide. We have to make sure that all our rural areas have access to high-speed Wi-Fi, because I believe that the future of education is going to largely lie behind that type of videoing capacities. You know, businesses were really hurt. There's a lot of people that lost their job, and we need to get these businesses back. One of the things that we must do is we need to reopen our businesses. We need to give them either a grant or a loan or a combination of both. We need to equip them with the necessary equipment to be able to deal with the pandemic. I don't want people to close their businesses if this were to come back again in the second wave. I want people to be able to operate in this environment. So for that, we're going to be spending a lot of time trying to identify the businesses that need this type of help, so we can give it to them. Very soon, maybe as early as tomorrow, the county is going to put out something that we call HidalgoCares.org. This is going to be your web page to go in for information as to what resources are available for businesses. You know, everybody wants to know what the future is going to look like, but I want to tell you, we're going to get through this. We're going to come out of this thing. We're going to come out well in this thing. I know we're going to have a lot of people dedicated to trying to make things better for you. I know we are going to do those things here in Hidalgo County. Just be patient with us. We learned a lot. We made some mistakes, but we learned from those mistakes, and I think we're going to be better prepared to deal with this sort of things in the future. So I wanted to give you this very brief update, and you'll be receiving more information here in the next couple of days as we perfect this economic recovery plan. So I wish everybody a very wonderful weekend that's coming up. Enjoy the hot weather. People tell me they understand that the virus doesn't like it because heat and humidity kills it. So the Rio Grande Valley is going to be number one in providing that. Well, anyway, thank you very much. Thank you for your consideration. Thank you for your cooperation.